moving to today's panel. We start with Marida Rizzuti, who teaches in the Department of Humanities at the University of Turin. She founded and currently chairs the research group Galassia Musical. Is that correct? Yeah. Within the Italian Society of Musicology. Her fields of study include the history of musical and film musical, Yiddish theater, theories of adaptation, and musical emigration between Germany and the United States between 1933 and 1950. She is the author of volumes on Kurt Weill, Molly Picon, is my pronouncing that right, and the musical in classical cinema. In 2023, she edited with Naomi Graver the volume, The Works of Kurt Weill, Transformations and Reconfigurations in 20th Century Music. Today, she's speaking about, her topic is Voicing Yiddish, Performing America, Molly Picon between 2nd Avenue and Broadway. So, Marida.
It's truly an honor for me to be here and to present some of my research on Molly Picon. I'm Italian and I dislike opera. I prefer musical and especially Yiddish theater. Let me begin with a central proposition. Molly Picon's Yiddishkeit should not be understood as a residual cultural element that simply survives the process of Americanization, but rather as an active performative practice, one that is continuously reconfigured across languages, media, and historical contexts. This paper examines how Picon constructs a specifically sonic and performative Jewishness capable of moving across cultural spaces, languages, and media. I frame this process through a dual movement, voicing Yiddish and performing America. These are not opposing trajectories, but mutually constitutive dynamics. More specifically, I argue that Picon's voice functions as a site of cultural mediation through which Yiddishkeit is not only preserved, but transformed. To articulate this process, I bring together three conceptual lenses: sonic memory, as the persistence of vocal and affective structures beyond language; diaspora, as the condition of cultural transmission across displacement; and displacement, not only as geographic movement, but as a shift across linguistic and medial environments. I will trace these dynamics across, for example, Yidder with his Fiddler on the Roof, particularly the song Anna Perka, Picon's television appearance in Gomer Pyle, and a 1981 interview with Pia Lindstrom. Picon's performance style emerged from the Yiddish theater of 2nd Avenue, where Jewishness is articulated not only through language, but through sound, gesture, and affect. In this context, Yiddishkeit is fundamentally embodied and sonic. It is produced through rhythmic elasticity, through the oscillation between speech and song, and through a distinctive vocal timbre. These elements form what we may describe as a vocal habitus, a set of embodied practice through which cultural identity is enacted. This is where the concept of sonic memory becomes crucial. Sonic memory does not rely solely on semantic meaning. Rather, it operates through rhythm, intonation, and affective resonance. It is carried in the body and more specifically in the voice. Picon's early performance established this foundation. Her voice becomes a repository of cultural memory that can later be mobilized across different contexts. This becomes particularly evident in Yidder with his fiddle, especially in the final sequence, when Picon's character reveals herself as a woman and begins to sing. Let's see the example.
Servus, sagt ihr was? Hat doch schieren Kopf nicht abgebrochen. Welche?
Kleidel.
Ah, weiß nicht. Ich bin doch ein Mädel.
Was?
Ich bin doch ein Mädel. Wo sitzt ihr? Je mögt alle hingehen, so je hand gut sein will. Tate, mit mir Vater. Geh daheim. Tafel ist ans Locken, so je hand gut sein. Freue mich, dass er hingehen. Je mögt alle hingehen. Ihr mit dem Steckel, sucht sie so nach hin. Seht nur hier, weckt ihm auf. Jenem dort, ja. Sagt ihm, mag gleich hingehen, so je hand gut sein. Geht nach.
Kannst du das?
Na, ich kann gar nicht.
Sie kann gar nicht. Singen kannst du. Ja, los, sing.
Will ich soll etwas singen verraten. Ach, kann ich kein Lied. Was haben Sie so rumgeschäbert mir die Jingen? Also, sonst doch, ich kann nicht singen. Was soll ich singen? Das Leben ist ein Lied und so ist einen Tag. Hey, Jidl mit dem Fiedel, will nicht mehr. Kostet ihr ein Jidl mit dem Fiedel auf meinen Kopf? Also wirklich sich drehen ist, Jidl mit dem Fiedel. Ich bin doch nicht kein Jinge, ich bin doch ein Mädel. Ihr seht doch, als ich bin ein Mädel. Was ihr lacht ihr was? Ihr sind schon einmal gewesen, ein Mädel. Ihr sind schon einmal gestanden auf Magen gespielt, Fiedel von Hobbyjingen. Sie verdienen ein Trickenstück Brot. Weißt ihr nicht den Tag? Ich aber ja. Nu, aber sich verstellt. Sich verstellt von ein Jingen. Ich bin geworden. Jidl mit dem Fiedel, Arie mit dem Wand. Das Leben ist gesehen als so schön. Gespannt mit den Tappen über Felder und Wälder. Gewinnt frei wie ein Vogel. Bis Blitzen putz. Ist einer angekommen und sind wir geworden engende männerische Kleider. Ja. Das erste Mal in meinem Leben hab ich das Ziel. Oi, Mama, bin ich verliebt. Oi, Mama, bin ich verliebt. A klezmer Mama getreie, liegt mir noch im Sinn. Ja, mir liegt der Tag im Sinn, aber ich ihn in der linken Fjatte. Weil meint, ich bin ein Jinge. Ihr seid schon einmal gewesen verliebt in ein Jinge. Ein Jinge mit ein Jinge hat etwas getan. Wollte ich ihm schon erzählt im ganzen Emmes. Ist Januar gekommen. Inzwischen sei beides geboren. Oh, das ist so. Ja. Emil? Ja. Was lacht ihr? Was lacht ihr? Lacht nicht. Was ist denn zu lachen? Also komm lieb. Darf ich von mir lachen? Als ich nach Liebe mit einem Leben und gewollt am Menschen machen, darf ich von mir lachen? Für mich häufig machen. Hör doch zu lachen. Ich will nicht mehr so lachen. Ich will nicht mehr so lachen.
Okay. This moment staged a transition on multiple levels, gendered, narrative, and vocal. Up to this point, her voice operates within a liminal register, aligned with the travesti role. At the moment of revelation, the vocal line expands into a more sustained and lyrical form, yet it retains the micro-inflection of Yiddish speech, rhythmic flexibility, subtle temporal displacement, and heightened emotional coloration. And we recognize also often da 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 is a version of Summertime, Klezmer Summertime, and also Oi Mama is a topos of Yiddish Mame. What we witness here is not a replacement of one vocal mode with another, but a layering. The voice moves toward a broader musical idiom while maintaining its cultural specificity. From the perspective of diaspora, this moment is particularly significant. It demonstrates that Yiddishkeit is not confined to a single linguistic system, but can be transmitted through vocal practice across different expressive forms. The voice thus functions as a threshold, mediating between identities without resolving them into a fixed form. This dynamic takes on a different form in Fiddler on the Roof, and particularly in andAbstract, the final ensemble number. Here, displacement is explicit. Let's see.
Well, andAbstract hasn't exactly been the Garden of Eden.
That's true.
After all, what have we got here?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A pot,
A pan.
a broom,
A hat.
Someone should have set a match to this place years ago.
A bench.
a tree. What's a house?
Or a stove.
People who pass through on that Tefka don't even know they've been here.
A stick of wood.
A piece of cloth.
What do we leave? Nothing much, only a tefka. Underfed, overworked, where else would the summer be so sweet? Intimate, obstinate,
Displacement is explicit. The community is living, and what is being staged is not only a geographical departure, but the dissolution of a linguistic and cultural environments, the Yiddish-speaking world of Eastern Europe. Within this context, Picon's vocal performance becomes a vehicle of sonic memory under conditions of displacement. Although the song is performed in English, her phrasing retains features associated with Yiddish prosody. She elongates syllables, introduces slight temporal displacements, and distributes emotional emphasis in ways that diverge from standardized Broadway delivery. This produced a layered sonic structure, English at the level of language, Yiddish at the level of rhythm and affects. In diasporic terms, this can be understood as a form of carried memory, a way in which a lost linguistic world persists through embodied vocal practice. Importantly, andAbstract narrates loss, but the voice resists disappearance. It carries forward what the narrative declares to be left behind. A further transformation occurs in Picon's appearance in Gomer Pyle, USMC, in season 5, episode 10. Let's see.
Salala. He graduated from UCLA, magna cum laude.
What's he do?
Well, he went for a CPA, and now he has a very big, important company in Los Angeles.
Well, that's wonderful.
He has a partner, but Sal does all the work.
You must be real proud of him.
Psst.
He looks like a real fine feller. I couldn't help but notice him when he was talking to you out there.
Oh, Sal is a good boy. You see, after my Sam died, I went to live with him and his family. I used to cook for them and clean. I was a babysitter. What didn't I do? So then Sal decided I was working too hard. I should retire. So he fixed me up with this apartment. $300 a month.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What do I need it?
Huh?
What do I need it, Gomer? It's too fancy schmancy. You know what I think? I think the whole place was decorated by a sissy.
Well, it's real pretty, though.
Yeah. Look at this, standing and talking. I bet you're starved. Come, we can talk by the table. Sit down. And now, Gomer, you're going to start with a piece of fish. Homemade gefilte fish that I made myself. Then I'll give you a plate chicken soup, wouldn't hurt, and a piece of chicken. Then I'll give you a little piece of gedempte flanken. This gedempte flanken you never ate.
That's right, I never even heard of it.
Peanuts and hot dogs you heard about, and gedempte flanken not. What's the matter? They don't teach you nothing in the Marines.
Golly, Miss Gordon, that sounds like an awful lot of food.
No, wait, I'm not finished yet.
There's more?
Well, if you wouldn't taste my kugel, I'll feel insulted. So, go, darling, start. Eat, yes? Here, put a little horseradish on the fish. Wouldn't hurt, yeah? You like it? It's good.
Mmm, it's delicious.
So I'll get you another piece.
But I've already started on this one.
I'll get you another piece.
I really think this will be enough.
Oh, you don't like it?
I love it. Gordon, you play the piano?
A Naska Levant, I'm not. It's really the piano for the grandchildren when they come.
What's it say? Die grüne Cosina. Is that right?
Perfect. I bet you speak Jewish. What was your name before you changed it?
It was always Pyle.
You didn't shorten it.
No, ma'am.
Pyle could have been Palchinsky, Palashevich, Pylyakov. You find out. I bet you'll be surprised.
I don't think so. But what does this mean?
The Green Cousina. It means the green cousin. You see, it's a story about a cousin who comes from the old country to America, and she's green, a greenhorn, but she's beautiful with cheeks like red apples and dancing feet. And she gets a job in a millinery store, and 1, 2, 3, she becomes a Yankee.
Well, that's cute. Can you sing it?
Well, a Barbara Streisand I'm not, but I'll try. Go. Ist mir gekommen a Cousine, schön wie Gold ist sie gewesen, die grüne, Bäckerlach wie reute Pomeranzen, Fieselach, was beten sich zum Tanzen, Bäckerlach wie reute Pomeranzen, Fieselach, was beten sich zum Tanzen.
That was wonderful.
Now you try it.
Oh, no.
No, look, the words are written in English letters. You read English, yeah. Come, try.
It's mir gekommen a Cousina, schön wie Gold ist sie gewesen, die grüne, Bäckerleck wie reute Pomeranzen, Fieselleck, wo's beten so mit tanzen,
Bäckerleck wie reute Pomeranzen, Fieselleck, wo's beten sich zum Tanzen. You know, you got a very nice voice, Gomer.
Thank you.
Now you...
Here, the displacement is not only linguistic, but also medial. The conventions of American television impose constraints of timing, tone, and accessibility. Within this context, Picon's Yiddishkeit undergoes a process of compression. The more explicit markers of her earlier performance style are attenuated. However, they persist in minimal but significant ways, in timing, in cadence, and in tonal inflection. Her vocal delivery retains an expressive density that exceeds the surrounding aesthetic. This can be understood as a residual form of sonic memory, one that survives even under conditions of strong assimilation. Yiddishkeit is not longer foregrounded, but remains audible as difference. The 1981 interview with Pia Lindstrom provides a crucial reframing of Picon's trajectory, not through performance, but through reflection on language loss and revival.
Theater at one time was very active, and there were many theaters and many plays. It is much less active today. Do you see any possibility of a revival?
There is now a great interest in the revival of the theater and of the language. We have lost our language. You see, nobody in the Yiddish field, nobody wanted to speak Yiddish when they came because they wanted to learn the language and get out and make a living. The only two words my grandmother learned in English was gerade hier and shut up. Get out of here and shut up.
But those are really useful words if you're going to learn two words.
But she would say, you know, geh up downstairs, and even the winde. There was always Yiddish, English mixed up like that. But then after the grand people were not with us anymore, the next generation didn't even try to speak the language. We assimilated very quickly. Now somehow, I think since the beginning of Roots with the black people, our young people too are saying, why don't we laugh when you laugh? What have we missed? What have you got that we didn't have? And they're beginning to study. And just about 7 or 8 months ago, Queens College called me to do my concert. And I have a very good concert. I say that without any fear because it works for me everywhere. And I said, I have a good concert, I'll come and do it. He said, oh no, we don't want that. We want a concert all in Yiddish. And I hadn't spoken Yiddish in 20 years. And I said, I can't, I don't have the language anymore, I'm afraid. They said, but you've got to do it because we have 600 students studying Yiddish.
Is that right?
And it took me 3 weeks to relearn the same program, that it started in Yiddish, then went into English, then went into French because I played in Paris, and then went into English again, and now going back again into Yiddish. Not with you.
Thank you so much for coming and telling us that. It's marvelous to see.
Okay. Picon describes the decline of Yiddish as a spoken language among immigrant communities, emphasizing how earlier generations actively abandoned it in favor of English. As she states, we have lost our language, we assimilated very quickly. This framing situates Yiddish as historically displaced within the process of Americanization. However, the interview also introduced the idea of revival. Picon links this renewed interest to a broader cultural moment, referencing how younger generation, particularly in the wake of movements like Roots, begin to question what has been lost and to seek reconnection with cultural heritage. This produced a distinction between two forms of continuity. On the one hand, institutional revival in which Yiddish becomes an object of study. On the other, embodied sonic memory in which it persists within vocal practice. The most revealing moment occurs when Picon recounts being asked to perform an all-Yiddish concert. Her response is striking. I had not spoken Yiddish in 20 years. I don't have the language anymore. This statement highlights a gap between linguistic competence and embodied memory. And yet, despite this claim of loss, she is able to relearn and perform the material within a short period of time. This suggests that Yiddish had not disappeared, but remained sedimented within her vocal practice. From the perspective of diaspora, this is crucial. Displacement does not result in absolute loss, but in transformation. Language may cease to function as everyday speech, yet it persists as a sonic archive, stored in the voice and capable of reactivation. This moment also reframes the earlier examples, the prosodic traces in Anatevka, the compressed inflection in Gomer Pyle, and the vocal expressivity in Yidel with his fiddle can all be understood as a manifestations of this underlying continuity. So, in conclusion, across these different contexts, from Yiddish theater to Broadway, from cinema to television, and finally to the interview, we can trace a consistent pattern. The movement from Yiddish to English is not a linear process of replacement. It is a process of layering, transformation, and persistence. Yiddish survives not only as language, but as sound, as rhythm, as intonation, and as affect. Molly Picon's voice thus becomes a site where diaspora is made audible. It carries memory across displacement, adapting to a new context while retaining its cultural resonance. Her work ultimately demonstrates that Jewishness in performance does not need to be explicitly articulated in order to be present. It can be heard in the texture of the voice, in its rhythms, and in its capacity to remember. Thank you for your attention.
Questions?
Yeah, so fantastic paper. I'm interested in how we can think through some of these things with regard to her age. So when she's fetal, she's very young. And then even in the movie Mamala, it's sort of ironic because she's a young girl who has to take. Here she's a girl really who has to take the role of the mother. Later on, she's really being, as she ages, she's performing as characters that are older. So do you notice anything in listening to her voice? Is there significance in the aging of her voice? You know, I noticed that when she sings in a Cosina, it's not as lively as when she's saying Yidel, Fiedel, of course, because she's much older. But I just wonder if there's anything there with some of the dynamics that you're mentioning, these sort of processes over time, whether her performing her age means anything with regard to the role of Yiddish.
Thank you for your question. In her autobiography, she never mentioned about her loss of voice, but she talks about she became older, and so she are not able anymore to make some jokes or some intonation and something similar. I guess in the Gomer Pyle, she seems like not intonated, but I guess is intentional because she reproduces a memory of certain sound, I guess. But as a answer, immediately answer to your question, I think there is a normally devolution of the voice as younger and so, because on the stage she performed at during the 50s in television, as well as young as 20 years. And so with the, also not the vocal performance, but not only with the vocal performance, but also with the body. I don't know the word in English with the jump and so on. Thank you. I hope to answer.
So one of the things I really love about this is its movement into what the body remembers, what the voice actually does, and away from what the notes are. And those are the places where we're tied up trays as musicologists stood for meaning. And away from that into reflection, into vocal rhythms, not the rhythms notated, but the rhythms that feel natural to the performer. Have you done this with other performers? I mean, have you tried to understand this kind of layering with other performers as well?
Thank you so much. At this moment, I'm focused only on Molly Picon, but my interest is in studying the other women performer of Yiddish theater, and especially in the passage from Yiddish district to Broadway, because in Molly Picon in some matters became a Moses like Moses from Yiddish theater, Yiddish district to Broadway, and especially with the sound of Broadway. And not only for the translation from Yiddish to English, but the aspects of sound of Broadway song. She reinterprets in some matter. I don't know if I answer.
Makes sense, sure.
Well, I just want to say I feel bad that I have unfortunately couldn't get here for the first part. Like, my mother, Alasham, was in two plays with theater performances with Molly Picon, and I met her in Wanko. So what I was going to say, being that what you were asking, so I think I'm trying to see, I just want you to, I think it was 1966. So I don't know how old Molly would have been then, but I'm called. I was a young child. It's 1966, so my mother was in Milk and Honey with her. In head session was expensive, but the reason I'm bringing it up is that I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. It was a transformational time for me, meeting her and everything, seeing her perform. So, of course, it was all in English, and so, you know, she sang, but her Yiddishkeit was very present. You could, I mean, just feel it, and the inflections of her singing that she was talking about on Broadway shows, I mean, this wasn't on Broadway, this was, you know, famous musical, was very present. I mean, it wasn't like an American thing. It was Molly Picon singing, and so she had that, the inflections were very much there.
Wow, I'm really impressed that, and we stay in touch absolutely, because you are, yeah. Oh, oh wow, is it possible to see this playback? Okay.
I haven't followed them, so I don't know how well you follow that. Mark and I has been working this so great. Isn't it giving me what the dinner, which for many people did seem to recapture something on the one hand. On the other hand, it was also evident, I think, that they were, you know, not by the kinds of things that you're seeing as markers of Yiddishkeit, but they're just pronouncing the words right. And it would be wonderful, actually, to have some potential for coaching people into that a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Have you thought about did you know about the Yiddish department?
No, I know only the English version, but I'm really interested in viewing the Fiddler on the Roof Yiddish at any time.
Because I saw in New York they're going to do the full production.
Yeah. It's going to be Amundsen from the end of February through March.
Really?
2027. Okay, I already booked my next flight.
I think it may be playing in Toronto this summer.
Yeah, we can also take a break. So thank you, Ulrike.